Lesson 1: Introduction to News, Hard News and Soft News. The objectives of the lesson: to impart journalistic skills to the students, to enable and inspire the students to write for newspaper, to introduce different forms of writing. And the learning outcomes are: after completion of the course, the students will be able to identify different types and elements of news, understanding subjectivity and objectivity in writing, write in different forms. Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. In this lesson, I will discuss with you all what is news, what makes news and what are the elements a reporter has to keep in mind to identify news. We will try to learn how a newspaper office collects, edits, designs and publishes news of local, national, international for its readers. These things give understanding not only on basis of journalism, but also about news values. There are various types of news that are regularly covered by newspapers to give complete picture to its readers about what is happening around the world. The first quality of a good journalist is to have a nose of news. So, to have a strong understanding on all these topics related to news, this session has been designed accordingly, where we will talk to you about what is news, what are soft news and hard news, how they differ and why they are both important in journalism. By the end of this session, you will have a clear understanding of these two types of news with examples and some real world updates. Before diving into soft and hard news, let's take a moment to understand what news itself means. News is essentially information about recent events or updates that people need or want to know. The word news implies something new, something fresh. But news isn't just information. It's carefully selected, presented and distributed by journalists or media houses to reach the audience. News is basically a report about something that is happening right now or is about to happen soon. It's all about sharing information on recent events through media like newspapers, TV, radio or the internet. Simply put, news is something new, something people did not know about before. If we simplify this further, news is the latest development from the past 24 hours that grabs people's attention and makes them curious. Every day, we come across different types of news: accidents, politics, sports, crime and so on. But let's be honest, if something happens close to where you live or involves someone you know, don't it feel more important? You are naturally more interested and it might even make you more alert because it directly impacts you. Now, not everyone reads every piece of news in the paper or watches every story on TV. People usually stick to what interests them or affects their day-to-day life. Why do people follow the news at all? The simple reason is to stay informed. Without news, we would feel disconnected from the world. But here is a key point. Not all information is news. For example, if you go to a railway station and see train timings on the notice board, that is just information, not news. However, if the railways release a new timetable with changes, that becomes news because it's new and relevant. Take weather reports as another example. Daily temperature updates are just information. But if there is a sudden flood due to heavy rains or a drought due to no rain, now that becomes news. So, what's the takeaway? News has to offer something new. It said the word news represents the four directions: north, east, west and south. Meaning news can come from anywhere. It's all about sharing current events that people don't know before. To call a news story complete, it needs to answer 6 basic questions. The 5 W's: when, where, what, why and who, and 1 H, how. For example, if you hear a story like a boy was kidnapped on his way back from school, the first thing you would want to know is when and where it happened. Next, you would want the full story. What exactly happened? Then come the curiosity about why it happened and who the kidnappers were. Finally, you would wonder how the kidnapping occurred. If a news story does not address all these questions, it feels incomplete. News is all about what's new and interesting. John Bogart once famously said, "When a dog bites a man, it's not news because it happens often. But if a man bites a dog, that's news." Why? Because it is unexpected and grabs attention. However, sometimes even common events can become news if they involve someone famous. For instance, a dog biting a movie star. In simple terms, news is timely information that interests many people. The best news is something that grabs the greatest attention from the largest audience. For instance, when a major tax reform like GST was announced, it became big news because it impacted everyone. Joseph Pulitzer, a legendary publisher, described news as something that is dramatic, unique and worth talking about. Similarly, the famous editor of the New York Times defined news as anything you can learn today that you did not know before. Let's look at the key features of the news. It must be new. If it is not new, it is not news. For example, the assassination of Mrs. Gandhi was significant when it happened, but once reported, it became history. However, if new facts about that event are uncovered, they would still become news. Another thing is it has a short lifespan. News loses its freshness quickly. For instance, when demonetization was announced, it was headline news. Today, it is more of a history or a follow-up story. It should interest many people. News must resonate with a large audience. For example, the discovery of the new insect might fascinate scientists but would not make headlines for most of the readers. However, something like a new tax policy or weather extremes would. The impact of news depends on who processes it. Reporters gather the facts, interviews make the news, and the editor shape the story into something impactful. For a piece of information to become news, it needs to be timely, relevant, and engaging. In short, news is about sharing fresh, meaningful stories that matter to people. Whether it's a sudden political decision or a dramatic event, if it grabs attention and affects people's life, it's news. And remember, news can come from anywhere, as I told you, north, east, west, or south. A reporter's main job is to gather news, and for that, they need a clear understanding of what qualifies as news and why it's worth covering. Reporters are the ones who bring us stories about what's happening around the world. But their work is much more than just finding facts. In simple terms, a reporter is someone who collects information and shares it with the audience, whether through newspapers, magazines, TV, radio, or the internet. Reporters dig deep, investigate, and then present the story in a way that people can understand and connect with. Reporters don't just write the news stories, they might also create features, interviews, or even documentaries. Some reporters work directly for news organizations while others are freelancers, which means they write for whoever is willing to pay for their stories. There are two main types of reporters: general reporters who cover all kinds of stories, from accidents to political events. On the other hand, specialized reporters, they focus on specific areas like sports, politics, events or agriculture. For example, a political reporter keeps up with government affairs, while a sports reporter covers matches and player update. No matter their focus, a reporter needs to be curious, quick thinking and ready to chase a story wherever it takes them. They play a crucial role in keeping us informed about the world we live in. Without them, we would not know what's happening in our communities or beyond that. So, whether it's a breaking news or a heartwarming feature, reporters are the storytellers who connect us to the world. News values play a crucial role in determining what stories make it to the headlines. What's considered important or newsworthy can carry greatly depending on the place, culture and audience. A reporter must understand these differences, ensuring their tone and content respect cultural sensitivity and don't compare across as offensive. For example, in developed countries, detailed reporting of controversial speeches may be acceptable, but in developing nations with communal sensitivity, such reporting could spark unrest. Journalism demands responsibility. Reporters must balance the freedom of the press with ethical standards to ensure they inform without harming. Here are key news values every journalist should keep in mind when deciding what and how to report a story. First is accuracy. Accuracy is the foundation of any good news story. The information presented must be precise and credible. Reporters need to double check facts, figures, names and spellings before publishing. If you are quoting someone, ensure the meaning remains intact and does not misrepresent their words. Rumors and gossips should never make it into the news report. Credibility matters above all. Second is balance. Every story should provide a fair perspective. If you are covering a controversy, include all sides of the argument. For example, in a labor strike, report both the workers' grievances and the employer's stance. Skewing a story to favor one side or leaving out crucial viewpoint can make the story appear one-sided or biased. Striking this balance is essential, critical in stories involving political, social, economic issues. Third important one is impact. The impact of an event determines its newsworthiness. Events that affect many people or have far-reaching consequences naturally attract more attention. For example, when a tsunami struck multiple countries, it becomes global news because of the widespread devastation. On the other hand, a cyclone affecting a small area might not resonate as strongly unless its impact spreads further. Similarly, if a disaster outbreak occurs in a one city but poses risk to nearby regions like COVID outbreak, it becomes a major story due to its broader relevance. Fourth important point is controversy. People love controversies. Stories involve conflict, debates, dramatic exchanges often dominate the news. Whether it's a political clash, a high-profile legal case or an international standoff, controversy keeps audiences engaged. Take the Ukraine conflict with Russia example. It garnered attention worldwide. Even lighter controversies like disputes between cricket teams, political parties often grab headlines because they fuel public interest. Next is prominence. When prominent figures are involved, the story naturally gains significance. If an ordinary person's car breaks down, it's hardly newsworthy. But if the same happens to a prime minister's car, it becomes a headline. Similarly, a common person visiting a historical site might not attract any attention, but when a global leader does, it becomes a major event. Prominence adds weightage to the stories and makes them more compelling. Then comes current affairs. News is all about what's current and relevant. Events that are happening now or have going on implementation hold a most interest. For instance, an international summit like a SAARC meeting, G7 meeting and so on become news because of its immediate significance. Likewise, extreme weather conditions causing disturbances can dominate headlines as people look for updates on the situations. Then comes oddity. Unusual or extraordinary events often bring lot of public curiosity. Stories that highlight rare or unexpected occurrences make for engaging reading or viewing. For instance, a man pulling a car with his hair or a singer breaking a world record for a non-stop performance draws interest because of their sheer oddness. Such stories often feature as box items in newspapers, provide a break from routine news. Then comes emotion. Stories that tug at heartstrings or evoke strong emotions are always impactful. For instance, a child reunited with their family after being rescued from kidnappers make for a powerful human interest story. Similarly, stories of generosity like a charity sponsoring life-saving surgery for a child resonate deeply with audiences. These stories go beyond facts and connect with people on an emotional level. Then comes usefulness. News should serve a purpose. Reports that provide helpful information like weather warnings, emergency, contact numbers or public service announcement are highly valued. For example, during natural disaster, news channels, TV channels often share helpline numbers or request blood donors and also crucial and critical cases. Such news not only informs but also mobilizes support and assistance for those in need. Educational value. News can also educate. Columns about job opportunities, higher education and career advice in newspapers and online platforms guide readers in making informed decisions. For instance, reporters on emerging career trends or update on scholarships provide essential information to students and job seekers. By addressing these needs, news become a tool for learning and empowerment. Understanding and applying these news values ensure journalism remains relevant and responsible. A reporter's job is not just to gather information, but to present it in a way that informs, engages and respects the audience. News isn't just about what's happening, it's about why it matters and how it affects people. By focusing on accuracy, balance and impact while weaving in emotions, oddity and usefulness, reporters can create stories that resonate with audience and maintain their trust. News values acts as a guiding framework, helping journalists prioritizing stories that truly matter while upholding ethical standards. Whether it's a breaking news story or a feature article, the principles of good journalism remain the same: inform, educate and connect with the audience responsibly. Now, news can be broadly categorized into two main categories. One is hard news, the other one is soft news. Let's start with hard news because it is a backbone of journalism. Hard news refers to serious, time-sensitive reports about important topics. What are the key features of hard news? Let's see. Urgency is the first feature. Hard news is immediate. It demands to be reported as soon as it happens. For instance, think about breaking news alerts you get on your phone. Serious topics. It covers major events like politics, natural disaster, international affairs, crime or economic updates. For example, a reporter on inflation in India or a cyclone in the Bay of Bengal would be considered hard news. Another area, objective reporting. Hard news is factual and avoids opinions or emotions. It answers the basic questions: what, when, where, who, why and how. Examples of hard news could be something like Prime Minister announces new economic reforms during G20 summit in New Delhi is a hard news. Cyclone Biparjoy makes landfalls, causes massive damage in coastal Gujarat. Another example, Supreme Court verdict on uniform civil code sparks nationwide debate. Understood? So, why hard news is important? Let's see that. Hard news informs people about the things that affect their lives directly. For example, when petrol prices rise, people want to know why and how it will impact them. During the elections, people rely on hard news to make informed decision about voting. Some of the latest example of hard news to say, like the Israel-Palestine conflict continues to determine global headline with ongoing updates. Or we say India recently celebrated the success of Chandrayaan-3, its historic moon mission, and even World Health Organization issued warning about raising cases of Nipah virus in Kerala, and so on. So, these stories demand urgency, accuracy, clarity, make them classic examples of hard news. Unlike hard news, soft news isn't it urgent or serious. It focuses more on human interest, entertainment and lifestyle. What are the key features of soft news? I would say first thing would be timeliness. Soft news does not have to be reported immediately. For example, a feature about a new fashion trend can be published anytime within a week or two. Emotion and engagement is another feature, where it's written to entertain and inspire or touch the audience's emotions. And also variety of topics. Soft news covers topics like culture, arts, food, travel, sport, health and even celebrity gossips and so many. So, to mention some examples of soft news, I would say top 10 tourist destination in India to visit this winter, or Virat Kohli's fitness secrets revealed, how he stays at the top of his game, or related with fashion trends for 2024, what is in and what is out. So, these are the few examples. You may be thinking, why is soft news so important? Because soft news is equally significant like hard news, because it helps people unwind and relax. It brings a human touch to the journalism and it often reflects social trends and preferences. Some of the latest examples of soft news would be Bollywood actress Alia Bhatt's interview on balancing work and motherhood made headline. Indian cricket team celebrating after winning the Asia Cup went viral on social media. 10 easy yoga poses for better mental health become one of the most read articles during the Mental Health Awareness Week. Now, let us see the differences between hard news and soft news. With reference to the urgency is immediate and timely sensitive, whereas soft news can be reported anytime. We look at the tone, hard news is formal and serious, whereas soft news is casual and engaging. Focus point, if you look at factual events and impacts the hard news, whereas soft news is emotional and lifestyle and entertainment. Best examples for hard news is political events and natural disasters, whereas soft news is celebrity and gossip, travel, guiding, health tips and etc. The purpose of hard news is to inform and educate people, whereas soft news is to entertain and inspire. In today's media landscape, the line between the hard and soft news is often blurred. Let me explain how. Many news stories combine hard and soft elements to appeal to the broader audience. For example, a report about a devastating earthquake, which is a hard news, might include a heartwarming story about a rescue dog saving lives. This is a soft news. Coverage of an election campaign might focus on a candidate's political performance. which is a hard news, and their personal life or hobbies is a soft news. This approach makes the news more relatable and engaging. Now, social media is everywhere. Then let's see how social media influences hard news and soft news. In the digital era, platforms like Twitter, Instagram and YouTube have changed the way we consume news. For hard news, social media acts as a real-time news tracker. Updates like earthquakes in Indonesia, tsunami alerts issued spread within seconds. For soft news, platforms like Instagram, Pinterest and Perfect for sharing lifestyle tips, recipes and travel content. For example, a viral video of a chef making fusion Indian dessert is classic soft news. Let's see what are the challenges of hard and soft news. For hard news, maintain accuracy while being fast is a tough, and misinformation spreads quickly, especially on social media. Whereas it is for soft news, sometimes criticized by being fluffy or lack of depth. It can overshadow important hard news if overdone. How to identify hard and soft news in real life? Here are quick tips. If the story makes you say, I need to know this right now, then it is hard news. If the story makes you think, I think this is interesting, I would like to know, then that is called as a soft news. To give more practical exercises, let's try to categorize the following headlines together. Heavy rains in Chennai disrupt daily life. What sort of a news this is? Hard news. 5 easy recipes to make during the monsoon season. Answer: soft news. India achieves record-breaking global medals in the Asian Games. This is timely, hard news. Behind the scenes, how athletes prepare for the Asian Games is a soft news. Let's have quick review of what we discussed so far. We discussed what is news. News is fresh, relevant information about events or developments that interest or affect people. It informs audiences about what is happening locally, nationally, globally through mediums like newspaper, TV, radio and the internet. For news to be impactful, it must address 5 W's: when, where, what, why, who and how. A news story should be timely, factual, meaningful. For example, while daily weather updates are information, extreme weather conditions like floods turn into news due to their urgency and impact. Overall, we try to understand the importance of news as hard news and soft news. News connects people to their environment and helps them stay informed about issues that matter. From critical hard news like political developments to engaging soft news stories, journalism plays a vital role in shaping public opinion, forecasting education and promoting accountability. Through responsible reporting and adhering to the ethical standards, news serves as a bridge between events and the public, ensuring people understanding their world better. Both hard and soft news play a vital role in journalism. Hard news keeps us informed and aware of the world around us, while soft news entertain us as to bring us out the human side of stories. Together, they create a balanced media diet that caters a different need and preferences. I hope this session had helped you understanding the difference between hard news and soft news and why they matter. Remember, whatever it is, a breaking political update or a feel-good story about a rescued puppy, every piece of news has its place in our life.